The sun is still setting. We're coming to nighttime here. It's the evening of Sunday, June 11th, 2023. Not much to see. They're doing a bunch of work on the, just all around the site. I don't see any work getting done on the Starship. I am currently uploading a video as well of the launch site. Tower looks good. And a lot of people coming from the beach, going back to Brownsville. I'm kind of checking in with people to see what they're doing. Any thoughts you have about the week coming up here at SpaceX, etc., elsewhere around the world? There's somewhat of an idea that I've had for at least a few weeks. We have cycles here on the Earth, and a lot of times, if there isn't any real change, we just go through the cycle. So we'll go up and then we'll go down, we'll go up and down. So if no change happens and we just go through the cycle, then we just continuously go through the same cycle and there's no progress, there's no real change. So for there to be real change, you have to do something has to change, for the cycle to change. Cool, Carl. Nice. Good stuff. The one way that applies is in the financial markets. If there is no real direction to anything, then if you are a market maker and things are really just treading water, then you can create certain cycles to siphon away all the money from all the new investors who have belief in the changing markets. If the markets aren't really changing and they're just going through different cycles that you as a market maker create, then you kind of gobble up all the little fish. All the little fish, you can gobble them up. Looks like I uploaded a video just before this, and it looks like it just got up to YouTube. So there's in 1080, I got some 2 minutes of video of the launch site here this evening, if you'd like to see it in a little higher quality. But that applies not only to the financial markets, but to every other aspect here on Earth and throughout the universe, actually. If everybody and everything in the universe is connected, then everybody knows what the next step is. And if nobody takes a new step, then we're all just pulling at the same rope. There's tensegrity is a type of system where everything's connected. So if one thing moves in one direction, another thing will follow it in a certain way. So if everything is connected, which everything is, one of us in one of these bodies has to make a difference, has to make a change for there to be change throughout the universe. So if we make a little change, then the pattern may not get interrupted or changed so much. But if everything, there's a type of pattern in mathematics called fractals, 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 fract with the F, Frank fractals. And if everything in the universe is a type of fractal, then I'm gonna get on camera. F with a Frank Robert Actals, fractals. If everything in the universe is like a fractal of, so everything else is like a pattern, it's like a repetition, then to change the pattern and to have a new fractal, somebody has to make a big change, because we're all connected, so everybody gets affected. But if you want to create a change in the fractal beyond just your smaller area of the universe, to really have an impact on the whole universe, all of creation, all of existence is a better word, then you gotta make some really big changes, and maybe it'll be big enough to have an effect on the not only the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of other beings throughout the universe, but to actually have an effect on the physical densities of every dimension throughout the universe. So see if you can make some big changes in a certain direction if that makes you happy, and maybe we can make some real big changes, not only here on the Earth, but as a fractal throughout the whole universe. The way things were is just a pattern. It's just part of the fractal that we've created in the past. And if we want to make new changes, we want to experience something new rather than just go through the same old patterns. We gotta create some new fractals. Since everything is connected, you can have joy in the repetition of past accomplishments. But if you want to really, if everybody in existence is your other lifetimes, you and that other body and every other body throughout the universe, if every other body throughout the universe is in fact you, it's always been you and all the other bodies. And if someone learns to eat soup, or if someone learns to drive a bicycle, it's not really that new in the you and yet another body learning to ride a bicycle is not really new in the universal sense. So you and that new body learning to ride a bicycle, even though the joy is real and everything else, it's just a repetition of a fractal, you once again in a body having fun riding a bicycle or learning to ride a bicycle. So all right, that's what I want to share. Cool. This is a good time. We have very low to no, we have some mosquitoes, but I haven't seen any yet tonight. We have very good conditions once again. Yesterday, I believe, we had some good conditions as well. Hey, Ken. How are the mosquitoes over there in Florida, Ken? I know, yeah, the large tanks got placed to the left, behind, kind of in the direction of the water deluge system, and in the back, behind that white light back there. They got placed next to the other 5 vertical, I don't know how many vertical there are, but next to the other white, horizontally placed, vertically stacked tanks back there, I think. I got some video of it, I think, yesterday, of the, yesterday evening, actually. Yeah, it looks like they were used water tanks from Ohio. I believe Michael Paul on Facebook said they were from Ohio, or somebody on that SpaceX Boca Chica group. Somebody made a diagram and it was shared on the SpaceX group, and they showed a couple 90-ish degree turns of the water as it's going toward that those 2 tanks, and then the water continuing on to the water deluge system. So someone has made some approximate diagrams of the flow of the water into those tanks and out. It's gonna be an interesting week. I'm not sure how things are gonna go here at SpaceX, but we'll see. I haven't checked the road closure thing. I think there was something scheduled for this Friday coming up. Road closure. Other than that, you know, they've been doing a lot of grinding and welding. I haven't heard so much grinding, but I have seen the like the maybe arc torches and stuff. So they have been grinding. I may even hear some grinding right now, so on the launch platform. So. Over the last 5 days, probably, I've been looking at different grants and things offered by NASA, JPL, and some other organizations. So I've been kind of putting my feet in the water for some of that. I haven't done a ton of it, but I've started looking at some of that stuff. Sunday is the day when most of the people in Brownsville go to the beach here at Boca Chica. So what we're seeing is the night crowd leaving the beach and going back to Brownsville. All these cars going by are coming from the beach. There's typically over 100 cars on the beach. They just drive onto the beach. It's kind of the Brownsville thing to do, to come drive out here on a Sunday, or a little bit on a Saturday, but mostly on a Sunday or a holiday, and spend the day on the beach with your vehicle and family. All the cars park next to each other. It's kind of strange, but. I guess it's like you would see anywhere else, like on Long Island, the South Shore or the North Shore. Probably other areas around the country. So it is June 11th, 2023. See what time it is. It's about 9:03 in the evening, PM. Yeah, this is the closest beach, Boca Chica Beach, Ken, in Boca Chica, Texas. Michael Schiffery, what did it say my birthday is, Michael? I don't think my birthday was any time recent. I am of the Cancer sign. Cancer sign. If you look at the Michael says June 1st, 1976. Wow. Yeah, it's not my birthday, but that's fine. Is that you, Michael? I may have written that somewhere just to keep people confused, but yeah, it's not my birthday. Can't be revealing everything to everybody. Got to make it a little bit tricky. All right, June 24th, says Michael. You know, Elon Musk is a Cancer as well. I think he's born around the late June time frame. Yeah, I don't know where things are going here at SpaceX. They're moving forward, moving forward. There's a lot going on all around the world. A lot going on. We have like perfect weather here right now. This would be great if there were a restaurant here. I ate a lot of food in town, but if there were like a public restaurant around here, this would be like the perfect time of year to be at the restaurant. Just sitting in a nice couch with maybe a lemon lime juice or something like that with some ice in it. Yeah, the only issue, Jay, with going around the back to look at the water deluge is around back is where all the mosquitoes are, because they don't spray for mosquitoes around the back of the launch site. That's why people don't normally go around the back. So when you get those nice, fun to watch shots from the back, which don't get a lot of views, I have to weigh the number of views something will get with the effort required, with the number of mosquitoes and the payoff. If there's no payoff and there's a lot of mosquitoes and a lot of effort, then sometimes it's just easier to lay down on the seat of the couch and go to sleep. You got to realize 1,000 views is worth $1. So if a video gets around 500 or 600 views, that's about 50 or 60 cents. So. So you weigh like 50 or 60 cents in the one hand versus the mosquitoes and the effort to get around the back there in the other hand. So it's a trade-off. I was over at my property today, or the Space Ocean CORP property, and I did some more digging. I've got a large kind of pool area that I've started digging out for water catchment. I have the water catchment microwave dish, but I've been digging out an area for about 6 months now, and using the dirt that I dig out to put around some of the fruit trees that I bought. And today I finished the first layer of digging, so I have a complete circle dug down about 1 foot deep, probably about a 7-8 foot circle, probably an 8 foot diameter circle, dug a foot deep, and it's been I've been able to collect water in the past, but I completed that first level and began digging a second level down. But slowly but surely, I think I'll dig a pretty deep a basin or something like that into the ground, and use all that soil to put around the fruit trees as well. It's gonna be awesome. So I was out there today just checking on stuff. Banana tree is doing great. All the other fruit trees are not doing so good. I think all that ocean water may have killed off some of the fruit trees that I bought. When it flooded, a lot of that ocean water was about a foot or two high, and the newly planted fruit trees, I don't think they made it, but we'll see as the year goes on. We're just kind of getting into the dry season now. There's a bit of talk by people about when it comes to artificial intelligence, and it's kind of funny because they're like, what are we gonna do when this artificial intelligence can do everything? What are humans gonna do? And it's quite hilarious because. Yeah. I say that because most people don't meditate or relax because they don't have time, or they choose not to have time, or they haven't organized their life in a way where they can have time. But if the robots can satisfy all of our basic needs in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, then we'll have more time to perfect the pyramid that Maslow has defined for us, and we can tick off all the other levels of the pyramid of the hierarchy of needs, and we can begin to have a golden age of relaxation and meditation, and maybe even a small sliver of perfection. So that's what we can look forward to if we wanted to. We can keep creating bigger weapons. We can use this artificial intelligence to perfect more weapons, or we can use it to ease, in another way, we can use it to ease the burden of society, and we can organize life throughout our planet and our civilization so that we can have more time to relax and coordinate with each other and create new beneficial things for us to do. You know, the bigger and better the artificial intelligence we have, we can always use it to destroy ourselves. But there is something on the other side of the coin. Something on the other side of the coin of artificial intelligence. If we want to use it for kindness and for good, that we can use it to create more relaxing technologies and create better schools and allow ourselves to self-teach ourselves and teach others so that we can have better lives and as a result have deeper relaxation and have a better ability to focus and to create newer and better things, both in our bodies and out of body. So we can bridge the worlds of meditation with engineering. Anyway, I don't know what else there is to say. Looking at space, artificial intelligence can be used to create robots that can map out new instantaneous solutions for when these robots and space probes end up on these other worlds, beyond the programming of the people who made the robots, such that if there is a large lag between the communication time with the Earth over the billions of miles from the Earth to the other locations, where these robots are discovering new adventurous things for us to watch and learn, then that artificial intelligence or intelligence, maybe it's not artificial, but the intelligence will have a greater capability of adapting to the needs of the mission, wherever it happens to be. And so that's a good application for artificial intelligence. I've been watching a couple videos by roboticists at JPL and some other areas, and that's kind of the theme that they talk about. Also, there's a guy named Tom Bilyeu. I was watching a video by him tonight with the Diamantis gentleman. I believe that's who it was, with the Breakthrough organization. Watching a video with them tonight. I don't think I finished it, but I did. They were a little bit talking about that too. They haven't. These tech lords have not entered the field of meditation, but if they do, maybe toward their later life, when they start having health issues, they'll venture into some of those higher dimensional states of being in the out-of-body state. Possibly they will have an existential crisis, but if they die early like Steve Jobs, then maybe they won't discover the other dimensions. But if they're wise enough and they're curious enough and they are able to still their activity long enough for them to relax into the moment, there is a chance that they will pop out of their physical body and explore and discover the other dimensions that are waiting for them to relax. It's said that in yoga, and one of the things that it is said by some people is that if you don't reach enlightenment by the age of 35, then it's not going to happen. Your odds of it happening are very small. So I reached enlightenment when I was 25. But for the rest of the people who are maybe billionaires, maybe it gets progressively harder the richer you get and the older you get to actually understand the universe and to be the universe. So I guess the more you have, the less of the universe you have. So it might be something like that. I'm not sure. But maybe the more you have, the more you think you have, and so the less you have, the less you think you have. So when you meditate, you really meditate to connect with the universe. But if you have a lot, then when you meditate, you think you have everything that you need, so you don't really meditate hard enough, so you don't get enough of the universe. But maybe that's the whole thing about poverty. If you really think you're poor, then you really know that you're poor. So when you meditate, you really connect with the universe. I think I may have solved something here. I think I solved it. I'm going to get on video and say this. I think I solved it. Okay, I repeat myself if you want to do a screen capture. Palma Marcos, it is June 11, 2023. So what I was just getting at is that if you are really, really poor, then versus being really, really rich. If you're really, really rich and you own a lot of stuff and you happen to relax and maybe you have a little moment of silence and connection with the universe, if you meditate, maybe it's not that you're not really meditating strong enough. So when you meditate and you relax and you're rich, maybe you don't really connect with the universe too much because you think you have everything. But if you are really, really poor, you know that you don't have a lot. So when you meditate, you really want to connect with something, with the universe, or with what's inside of you, so that you can get away out of this crappy situation that you're in as a poor person. So maybe the poor people who have nothing, like the yogis, they really, really meditate because they have nothing else, right? So they really connect with the universe. But the rich person, maybe they don't really connect with the universe because they feel like they have everything. So it's a true situation there. So in reality, what people here on the earth have is so small compared to the universe and all the dimensions throughout existence. So maybe the really, really rich person who thinks they have a lot really misses out on that connection with the universe. So it's really good if you, there's a book called Siddhartha, and Siddhartha was a kid. He grew up in a really rich family. And then he happened to see a couple decrepit and poor people, right? His family always kept him away from the rich, from the poor people, so they would never see poor stuff in his lifetime. But he came across some poor people and some sick and ill people, right? So he found out that there was such a thing as death. So he wanted to go discover what this thing is. So he went out, and I hope I'm getting the story right, but he went out and he learned about the poor people and the sick people, and then he decided to meditate or something to figure out the solution to what was going on there. And that's where Siddhartha became the Buddha, and he became enlightened. And then he, I believe, at that point, he had a bunch of followers that were following him around at that time. And then he decided to stop all the extreme yogic practices that he was doing and go back into society and live kind of a more balanced life where he wasn't doing one extreme or the other. He wasn't extremely in the physical world, and he wasn't extremely doing austerity practices to cleanse and nullify the personality. He was trying to just be a little bit of both worlds. So all right, I saw there was a comment when I was just starting out here. Yeah, Michael Jeffrey says, have you read or watched The Expanse? It has water from moons transported to the colony cities and the solar system as an important part of the storyline. Riches choke out spirit. Oh, that's a good one, Michael. I like that. Riches choke out spirit, but only in the beginning. Because after you've found the spirit, then the riches will never outpower the spirit once you've found the spirit. So it's okay to get rich after you get spiritual. Yeah, Siddhartha is the Buddha. That's correct. Herman S. Cool. Thanks, Michael. As far as what you were talking about as the we need Asimov's laws for artificial general intelligence. I gotta look into that. I'm not sure what that is. Hey, Stanley. The night sky like? I'm not sure. Yeah, there's not that much light pollution out here. We're doing pretty good on the... Okay, let me follow up with something that Michael was saying. As far as getting water from moons and transported to the colony cities in the solar system, that's a good thing. Right now, you know how we just had the whole COVID thing here on the Earth and everything was shut down, probably for financial reasons. The whole United States government was going bankrupt due to the Social Security system, and I believe maybe some of that stuff was linked to the bankruptcy of the Medicare and Medicaid. So they needed the stock market to crash and everything else. So I don't know what the cause of the COVID thing was, but I know if you were to give something to a poor person in a uneducated location around the globe, people really like to use soap. S-O-A-P, soap. People like to use soap, and when you look at the people in the Amazon, or wherever else, the indigenous population, they never use any soap. They believe more into the probiotics and stuff like that. Whatever the cow can give you, the colostrum, that's kind of what the people who don't have soap is what they do, is they just use the natural remedies. But a lot of times people in the civilized world like to use a lot of antiseptics and soap and other types of chemicals on their body, and then they wonder why their lifespan is so short and why their immune system, if it even exists, apparently the immune system is doesn't really exist. It's just something people made up. But if the immune system does exist, then there's a lot of people that like to use soap to maintain their health. So if we look at exploration throughout the universe, one of the big impediments that we have is that people are so fearful and they're so weak in their physical body. There is a joke, there's many jokes about, there was a karate guy named, I'm trying to remember his name, not Bruce Lee, he was like, trying to remember his name. Anyway, there's this joke about this guy, and they say, so and so one time so-and-so took a hand grenade and threw it at like 5 enemies, right? And then the punchline is, and killed, so-and-so, Chuck Norris, here we go, Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris one time came across these, say 10 bad guys, right? And they were doing bad stuff, and for some reason he had to kill them, right? So he threw a hand grenade at them and they all died, right? Chuck Norris threw a hand grenade at 10 evil guys with guns and everything else, and they killed them all, right? And then it exploded. So Chuck Norris saw all these bad guys. He threw a hand grenade at them. They all died. I guess the one hand grenade bounced off of one guy and then another guy and all the other guys, and then they all died. And then after they were all dead, it exploded. So Chuck Norris was a demonstration, and still is, I still think he's still alive, of health and natural power and force and all the good stuff, right? But today we have all these different chemicals from the pharmaceutical industry that are being pushed down doctors' throats and patients' throats and everything else. And so a lot of people have fallen into the whole soap thing about needing to antiseptic all their bodies and their skin and everything else. So they've fallen into almost the stimulant approach to health, whereas there is another approach to health using probiotics to strengthen the body and to strengthen the perception. So if you want everybody to do stuff for you, that's one thing. If you want to do it yourself, that's another thing. So if you want everybody to do stuff for you, you might as well just take the different chemicals and every 5 seconds use a different chemical to balance yourself out. But if you want to be strong enough to do it yourself, then that's more the probiotic, where you got to actually drink the raw milk from the cow and get the colostrum directly from the cow. If you want to use all these different drugs and stuff, then maybe you shouldn't use the probiotics, and you should just use the antibiotics. Because then you will definitely need all the drugs that you can get your hands on, because you will have no natural biota in your gut. So if you don't strengthen your body naturally, you're going to need all that stuff. So a lot of people, including in the space industry, when all you study is far away planets that you can't touch, far away moons, and different engineering stuff. Engineers don't really know much about health when it comes down to it. An engineer a lot of times was never a yogi, someone who does yoga, someone who does Ayurveda, someone who does naturopathy, natural healing. These people typically never become engineers. So the engineers are the ones in charge of the space exploration. And so a lot of these engineers believe in all the chemical industry and everything else. So they're into the side of needing medicine every 5 seconds to stay healthy. These are the people who get white skin, who never go out in the sun, who probably end up getting cancer for whatever reason. Kind of like Steve Jobs. I think he got pancreatic cancer or something like that, which is entirely curable. But he was probably just one of those tech people who never actually went into the natural healing. So like a lot of the smart people that they end up dying of something stupid. So what we have here in the exploration of the solar system, we have all these tech people running the show. So the way they see it is, if you want to go to a certain world or a certain moon or a planet, there's a lot of fear. They have a lot of fear because not only do they not want to do the discoveries because they're afraid of injuring whatever bacteria might be there on that planet, they also have a fear, once again, I'll say it again, they are afraid of injuring the bacteria on the other planet, which they might discover with their instruments, which is why they never go to the really liquidy parts and the hot, warm places where you would actually find life on these other apparent life that you could see, not very old and fossilized life. We're talking about life that you would find in liquid water on any of these moons or planets. They don't want to go to those areas, and they kind of label them as planetary protection areas, areas where it's more difficult to send your spacecraft, because they don't want to injure the bacteria or interfere or intermingle the life from Earth. They don't want to cross-pollinate the life from Earth into this other natural Bambi location. You know, we have these different cartoons that a lot of these engineers watch, and some of them have Bambi, and they have the Roadrunner, and all these Bambi, Roadrunner, Kermit the Frog type things ends up in their brain when they're looking at these other moons and planets, and they get very fearful. And so it's pretty easy to send a spacecraft to some of these locations and do this science, but they're afraid of injuring Bambi on the other moon or planet. And they're afraid not only of that, they're afraid of bringing the different viruses and bacteria back to the Earth, because they've watched a lot of fearful movies as well. So all this fear by these people who have never learned to strengthen their physical body, who know nothing about health, are guiding the discoveries throughout the solar system. On the other side of it, ironically, is the defense sector, with a budget 20 times that of the discovery sector. If we label the NASA planetary exploration sector as the discovery sector, and we label the defense sector as the defense sector, what it is, they get 20 times more budget than the discovery sector, and they're both part of the government. So one part of the government is telling you we have to protect Bambi and we can't contaminate the Earth. The other side of the government, it's kind of a table, right? Kind of good cop, bad cop, but they're all part of the same team. So the women in the NASA side of the government say we have to protect Bambi on the other planet. We can't interfere with the growth of the microbiota on the surface of that moon, where we probably know there's water, and we can't go to the water to discover it because we don't want to cross-contaminate the microorganisms from the two planets. So we can't go discover where there probably is some life that we can recognize. So we're not going to go there, and we're going to protect it. And then we have the defense sector, where none of the rules in the discovery sector apply to the defense sector, because the defense sector is mostly made up of men with weapons, and they say we're going to go wherever the hell we want to go, and we're going to blow up whatever we want to blow up, and keep the woman out of the defense sector, because we got to be able to do what we want to do. So the defense sector doesn't give a crap about Bambi on the other planet, and a lot of the stuff in the defense sector the public never gets to see, because if the public did get to see it, a lot of the public is brought up on the engineering type of BS that the Bambi scientists give to the engineers. So the public believes what the women at NASA have told them about the universe. So the defense sector doesn't tell the public what they want to do, they just do it. And that's where all the men hang out, in the defense sector, and they got most of the money. They got 20 times more money than the women at NASA. So if you want to pick sides, I would, as far as discovery, I would always go with the defense sector, because they don't have to live up to the BS that you get at the NASA side of the discovery sector. So that's the issue in spaceflight right now. The defense sector, with all the weapons and all the bombs, just blows their way around and gets what they want, and they find a lot of stuff, but you never find out about it in the public sector. And a lot of the people in the Bambi sector at NASA never find out about it either, because who wants to hang out with Bambi when you can just go hang out with what's a good person you want to hang out with? You can go hang out with King Kong. How about that? You can hang out with King Kong, or you can hang out with Bambi. So I think the government is hanging out with King Kong all over the solar system and the universe. Meanwhile, the NASA is trying to find Bambi. and protect Bambi. Rambo. You know, Michael, there was I think there was a test recently in the defense sector where they had a simulation and they had the robot trying to complete a mission, and the robot had two solutions to the problem that was happening with the robot was given a mission, and the one of the friendly humans in communication with the robot decided not to do something, right? So the robot's solution to the human not doing what it was supposed to be doing, to complete the mission, the human had to do a certain thing and the robot had to do a certain thing, and then the human was trying to not do what it was supposed to do to complete the mission. So the robot's solution was to kill the human, and then the human was trying to go and disconnect the robot from its tower or something like that, to sever the connection to the robot of the something, right? So the robot's solution to that, the second solution besides trying to kill the human, was to kill the people over at the tower or something like that. So in this simulation, the robot decided to kill two humans in order to complete the mission. So I don't think any programming that the robot's given is going to have any beneficial effect on stopping the robot from killing the humans. Oh, you did? You saw that as well. Awesome. That's quite an interesting thing, you know. It's probably not the first time something like that's happened, you know. Just the first time maybe we're seeing it in the public sector. I think tomorrow is a big reveal in, I'm kind of remembering this now. In Washington, I think there's a disclosure part 2 with Dr. Stephen Greer. And so I think it's a big event over in Washington tomorrow, Monday. Something I get to do tomorrow. I'm going to watch that. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, so the same people who put on this whole COVID thing over the last 3 years, we're in 2023 now, so the whole people who were involved in the COVID thing are also involved in the planetary protection. So the same type of stuff that we're getting here on the Earth is going to get, it's all going to happen again out there in the solar system. And it's mostly due to the Bambi scientists. The reason I've chosen to do what I'm doing is because I believe we're all connected. It's an easy way to say it for everybody to understand, but so I don't think NASA's ever going to send I don't think NASA's ever going to discover life on any moon or planet throughout the universe or solar system in the next 50 years. So I'm pushing this mission forward because I know NASA is a corrupt organization, primarily a militaristic DoD organization. So when you mix those two things together, you don't get any discoveries. So if we're going to get discoveries of life on another, life that we would recognize on another moon or planet, maybe it'll come through some of the cameras that I put out on the surface in some of the oceans throughout the universe. and the solar system. But primarily, if we had to weigh honesty on one side and corruption and falsehood on the other, I would say NASA is over 50% corrupt and false as far as what they show and tell the public. So more corrupt and false than they are true and honest. So it's going to take the commercial sector to bring out the truth and discoveries and honesty of the solar system and the current situation here that we're dealing with. Earth is primarily a prison planet, and NASA, being part of the controlling parties, is a partner with that slavery. So that's why I'm doing this Space Ocean Corp mission, to push the gears in the right direction, as someone who's already been off the planet to Mars and other locations. I am not I'm not in awe, nor do I bow down to those who work at NASA. Since we're all connected, since we're all the same person interacting with itself, the same consciousness, the same being, not only interacting with each other here on the Earth, but all throughout the universe. There's life everywhere in the universe, and it's really stupid to think there's only life here on the Earth. Every moon, planet, everything has a energetic body to it, so everything in the universe is alive. There's nothing that's not alive in the whole universe. And since there's only one consciousness in the universe, everything, every single thing, is that one living being. Everything is the one being everywhere, and since there's nothing in the universe that's not connected with itself, everything in the universe is alive. So to be in search of life elsewhere off planet Earth is very dumb. So everything in the universe is alive. There's no reason to search for life, because we know it's everywhere in the universe. And not only is there life everywhere in the universe, the only life existent in the whole universe is you. You are the only life that we'll ever find in the whole universe. And after your life here, or when you go to sleep, you will be elsewhere, somewhere in the universe, doing God knows what. But you are the only life in the whole universe, and there's no need to search for yourself, because we already know that you exist everywhere in the universe. There's only the one life, and I am it, I am it, and I am it. There's only I, there's only you. There's only you everywhere. There's only one consciousness in the universe. And there's not a single place in the universe where there isn't any consciousness. So there's no need to search for life, and there's no need to protect ourselves from ourselves. There's no need to isolate or protect the Earth from any other moon or planet throughout the whole universe, because there's only you throughout the whole universe. There's only just one being everywhere. And if you strengthen your body, you'll be able to deal with any other bacteria or virus that you'll ever meet anywhere in the whole universe. There's only the one being. There's no need for all this different chemicals and stuff like that. There's no need to protect yourself from any other planet with life. So that's why I'm doing this Space Ocean Corp thing. Not only to help myself in this body, but to help myself in every other body. And to get us out of this slavery we're dealing with here on the Earth. Alright, I'm going to end it here. That's a good place to stop. See if anyone else has anything else to say. This is going to be a good one to listen to again. We live in good times here. We're making progress. So get us out of this. We got to get us out of there. Out of this. We have to have a new fractal. That's a good one. See you next time.